Now, moving on to the legal services. Who looks after all these legal services? How are they bound? Who are providing funds for them? Who is the head of the states? And how the regions are maintained? All these things we shall discuss now. See here, we have a legal services in charge head called National Legal Service Authority. The National Legal Service Authority is the apex body which holds the entire national legal services and ensures that the state legal services will perform their duty, which means that for us we have state legal service authorities working under national legal service authorities. Not only this, national legal service authorities make sure that they allocate some funds for the state legislative authorities to conduct the activities. And for us at the national level, we have the heads of the Supreme Court judges acting as the chairpersons of these national legal service authorities, and at the state level we have the High Court Chief Justice acting as a pro-action chairperson of the state legislative authorities. And moving on to the district, we have the collector or the first class magistrate acting as the ex officio chairperson of the committee. Then moving on to the taluk level, in taluk level we can appoint a judge of a metropolitan level, or the ex officio chairperson of the mandal will be acting as the representative of the legal services. Now what does this legal services do? The legal services are provided, ensure that every citizen is getting accessible to the legal services, whoever is in need. It is not that every citizen is getting the legal services mean that everybody will get legal services. It is like which person is in need will get access to that through the legal services. Next, Lok Adalats. They are initiated to conduct the number of Lok Adalats which are required for the people to get access to the Lok Adalats and solve their problems. At the same time, the strategic aids of going there, filling the applications, evidences of the eyewitnesses, then the proxy proofs, all these things are not required to solve any of the disputes. Then how are the legal services working for us? Who has to be approached? If two parties are in conflict, either in the state or in the central level, they can move on to any of the high courts and they can ask for the reference of them to the Lok Adalats. When we ask for a reference, any of the applicant can issue a small application stating that they would like to solve their disputes in the Lok Adalats. Then the other party also will be cautioned and called for the Lok Adalat. If the state high court feels that the primary phase inquiry can be solved in the Lok Adalats, definitely they will refer it there, and automatically after the reference is done, automatically if the problem is solved, the fees of payment what we have paid in the state high court also will be refunded, and Lok Adalat decision will be binding on both the parties. We can have an access between the judge to have a primary interaction between them and to have an amicable solution for both the parties to try to negotiate properly and to solve the decisions very clearly and in a acceptable manner for both the parties. In this way, Lok Adalats are performing a very commendable job. Now, who are able to access to the Lok Adalats? Who are given the chance to get accessible to it? Whom should be approached to get Adalats? And how are the disputes solved? How is it working? Till now we have discussed the various authorities and the services in the legal thing. How is the setup of the legal system? That all we have seen, like national legal system is there, state legal system authority is there, then we have the district level, then we have the taluk level. At various levels, various in charges are working for us to ensure that the justice is provided for every citizen. Then who are the people who are getting to entitled to this? Who have the accessibility of this? Which kind of categories of people are getting accessibility to this? We can see here we have a list of members who are getting entitled for this. That is the people those are belonging to scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. See, the historically or the constitutionally before India got independence also, the most of the people those who are deprived of their economic status or who are considered as untouchables in the society were the people of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. This was a made point very clear in the constitution that there would not be any further untouchability in existence. So they have given some special privileges for the SC and ST category people in order to raise them to the normal living of the people standard, so that they would develop and economically and politically, so that they can get some kind of recognition in the society and they could lead a normal life and they could not bear any kind of atrocities or any kind of discriminations against their birth or their economic position or their cultural backgrounds. So this SC category people or ST category people, any of them can claim any of their cases to the reference of the Lok Adalats or Lokpal bills. Then moving on to the trafficking, any victim who has been tortured, whose human trafficking is being done, which is a very dangerous concept in the entire world today, who has been kidnapped by somebody, who has been tortured by somebody to do something else, who has been taken away by somebody, can approach the authorities to get the legal services support for this, relieving from the issue of their place. Then who are mentally ill, who are tortured for the mental sickness, these people also can apply, or the guardian of these people also can apply and get it reference to the legal services, that nobody would ensure it that nobody is going to torture that kind of person or the personality of the person, so that he can develop or he can recover back very soon, which is necessary for a person who is in the state of illness of this mental status. Then coming on to the victims of disaster, any victim of a natural disaster who needs a compensation amount from the government of the state or central or the district authorities to ensure to get them back, or they are not able to compete or fight with them to get their authorities back, they can move to the legal services to get them ensured and get it done for them. And moving on to the industrial workers, in most of the industries we see that they don't follow the minimum required safety measures, and in case if any of the employee hands were cut or legs were cut, immediately they terminate the services because he is physically handicapped. This kind of people also can move to the legal services to claim their legal rights and get some kind of fair compensation from the industries. So there are various other categories also here. The key categories are the things what we are discussing now. Moving on to the next, any woman who feels that her basic rights are violated, or she is being tortured, or she is not being allowed to do freely whatever she wants to do in a legal manner, definitely she can approach to get the legal services and get rid of the burdens. Or any small children, if they feel that they are tortured or they are made to work hardly in the factories, or they are forced to do any kind of work, definitely they could approach to the legal services and get their rights done for them. And moving on to the custody, if suppose anybody is in the custody of mental illness, even though he is cured for himself and he is kept in the mental illness and given tortured for him, then automatically he can move on to the court and get him relieved from that kind of bounding jail which is necessary for him to develop. And leaving all this apart, a person whose income is less than 1 lakh rupees per annum also can move to legal services authorities. Irrespective of all these things, he does not belong to the SC or ST category people, he may not be a victim of trafficking, or he may not be a mentally ill patient, or he may not be a victim of a disaster, he may not be having any industrial issue policies, or he may not be working in an industry, he may not be a woman, he may be a man, or he may not be a child. At the same time, he may not be in the custody of anybody else, but he also is having another legal issue whose income is very less, which means that economically he is not independent or he is very poor. Automatically he also can approach the legal services authority to get his authority right done with some support.